Good evening. Thanks everybody for coming out. Man, it is so fun to be here. Like for my favorite topic. Like I feel like this place, I write scary stuff once in a while, and it's because of growing up here. Imagine that. There's nothing at all scary about anything out here. We're going to hear a little of this tonight, which I'm really excited about. This event, how this works, I don't know if you know, these storytelling events will have 7 people tell stories, and they have roughly 7 minutes to tell the story. And so we're going to hear a really cool range of tales tonight. And I thought, I'd maybe start us off with a little tale about one of my favorite creatures, the Yupik lake monster. I thought it'd be kind of fun to tell that story, but I'm like kind of uncomfortable because I don't know if I could really get it right. It's like maybe if somebody could lend me a hand in telling that story, because I want to get all the details right. Not the hand I was thinking about. Welcome to the stage, someone who might know the story, might be able to tell us a little bit about the lake monster.
Winga, gimuchekta, gigikaklu. I am going to tell you a story about the Heart Lake Monster. The Heart Lake Monster is a creature that lives in the lakes in the Kilba-Kuskokwim Mountains, just 85 miles from Bethel. This story was passed on by the late Fanny Nicarai from Gweithluk. And now I'm telling you. Many people from Gweithluk would not go up to Heart Lake. They had already heard the story of the Heart Lake Monster. The creature could swallow whole caribou that were swimming across the lake. And the people of the Kuskokwim knew there was an evil thing happening up there. But many people still traveled because the squirrel, the caribou, were there. They travel in the early spring and stay until the water melted. And this is what happened. They were a young family. They caught many caribou. They caught many squirrel. And they were cleaning the caribou, getting it ready to bring it back down to Gweithluk. What happened? Their daughter was told to go down off the ledge, go to the lake, clean the intestine. And she did. The parents were working on the caribou skin. The daughter was down by the lake, and they looked up. And they could see the water was rising. And they could see this huge creature in the lake down below with eyes so big. And the water was rising, and they called to the daughter, "Come, Umpy." She did not hear them. And the water rose and rose. And all of a sudden, this huge creature came out of the water and grabbed her and slithered back. In anguish, they cried, and they never saw their daughter. And they cried, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" The father said, "I'm going to make arrows. We're going to get that creature in Heart Lake." He did. He had built 3 big arrows and tied them to spears. And the next day, he told his daughter, told his wife, throw that caribou leg. And they made a big sinew rope. And they threw the leg out. And he was up the beach a little bit above her. And he's saying, "I see it. It's coming. It's coming. The water was rising again, coming up, and all of a sudden, she's pulling the leg back, and it comes up off the beach, and boom, boom, boom. He shot 3 arrows in the head, and it slithered back, never to be seen again. The anguished parents went home, and they said, we'll never go back to Heart Lake. Never go back to Heart Lake. We know there's still creatures in those lakes in the Killbuck Mountain Range. The next year, this is 100 years ago, the next year, people from Bethel went back up there, and they saw the grass was tall. And they went there, and it was a creature's skeleton. And the kids could play. It was so big, the kids could play in the vertebrae. Be careful if you go into the Killbuck Mountain Range. Be careful of those lake creatures. Doy.
Thank you, random faceless stranger. Whoa! There's all kinds of scary things happening tonight.
So who wants to go to Heart Lake in March with me? Raise your hand. No one? Okay, done.
I have swam in Heart Lake, and my heart was pounding right out of my chest because of that monster and the cold. Really excited to have a musical performance. First up, we've got a band called Velma Lyle. It is Bethy Whalen, Lisa Whalen, Paul Basile, Kevin Morgan, and Nate DeHaan.
And maybe we'll learn, how did they get that name?
All right, so we'll take a second to set up some great music. I'm so excited to hear them play.
Fit loosely, slipping out of your clothes. I want my freezy, freaky clothes to be younger with nothing at all. Oh, younger with nothing at all. Oh, then you said it again, settle down, live an ordinary life. You're getting old, so act your age. It's such a sad sight. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's no more need to be so interesting. It's time you shed your delusional ways. But I wanna be younger with nothing at all. Oh, younger
Thank you. We'll be back again later.
Uh-oh. Somebody was really tall here. Do I just... who was here? Nate, DeHaan, really? Okay. They didn't tell me that nobody else was coming in costume. Anyway, wow, that's great. It'll be wonderful to have them a little later tonight. I mean, as we go on through the evening. These are my husband's glasses, and I can't read. But anyway, there's a lot of good sponsors for this event. UAF, SWAG, Kuskokwim Campus, and KYUK. Give them a big hand for putting this together. And we'll just start reading off a few volunteers at a time. But I want to thank Victoria Sosa, Julia McWilliams, Tim Oosterman, Mary Horgan, Amy Cooke, and Max Roche. Anyway, thank them when you see them. And right now, with no further ado, we're going to have one of our new Jesuit volunteers up here, straight from Georgia. Ian Poole, come on up. Give him a big hand.
Hello, everyone. So, my name is Ian Poole. Like Bev just said, I'm the Jesuit volunteer over at the library. And honestly, it's a good thing I'm going first because this story has nothing to do with the Tundra. But Theresa said I'm telling it on the Tundra, so it counts. But anyways, a lot of very strange things happen to me, according to my friends and family, and some of those things can be pretty scary. So here's one of them. A few years ago now, I was driving my boss back to his house in Atlanta. It was 2 hours away. I was tired when we got there. I didn't want to deal with the traffic in Atlanta, so I thought I'd use my brain and take all the side streets and avoid the traffic, avoid the highway altogether. I got lost about 2 turns in, and I had no idea where I was. I saw a helicopter up in the sky, and I thought, oh, great, a helicopter. It's probably a news helicopter. It's probably looking at the traffic. I can find my way back to the highway if I just follow it. So I'm driving along, and all the cars disappear. There's no more cars on the road. There's no more people walking around. It's Atlanta on a Friday night. I mean, it's got to be people around, right? But not my city, so I keep driving. And I turn a corner, and boom. Surrounding my car are hundreds of very, very angry people, and they do not like the look of me at all. And then it hits me. 2 days prior, Rayshard Brooks, a black man, had been shot at an Atlanta Wendy's by a police officer. For the last 2 days, Atlanta had been experiencing some really big riots and protests, and now I just drove into one. So I'm driving along, and I'm pretty scared. People are looking at me, and they don't look happy at all. And I get a knock on my window, and it's this lady, and she says, "Who are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? What do you think you're doing?" And I go, "Ma'am, I am so sorry. I don't know where I am. I am really lost. I just want to get back home. I am a 19-year-old kid from Columbus, Georgia. Please just help me." And she goes, "All right, calm down. It's okay." And she gets in front of my car, and like Moses parting the Red Sea, everybody just moves wherever she goes. And so I think, thank God, I'm going to get out of here real fast. So we're going along nice and slow, and I look to my right, and I see a car that's all burnt out on the side of the road, in this SUV. And I'll tell you, folks, looking at an SUV that's all burnt out on the side of the road when you're driving your mom's Subaru Forester SUV through a protest is not the kind of thing you want to be thinking about. And when I look back to find my lady, she's gone. My guardian angel has left me. And surrounding my car are not the same people who I had encountered when I first drove into the protest. These people are wearing masks, and they have hoods on, and they look even more unhappy with me than the people that I met earlier. And they start banging on the hood of the car, they're banging on the trunk, they're knocking on my windows, and I look to my left, and there's the Wendy's, all burnt out, people throwing stuff at it, and I think, oh my God, I have driven myself to the exact place where all of this violence the past few days has been coming from. And so I think, well, The only thing I can do is keep going forward. And so that's what I do. I keep driving very slowly, and eventually all the people disappear. All the people are behind me, and they're all facing the same direction as me. And that's because about 30 feet in front of me is a line of about 40 police officers on horses. And I'm very surprised to see them, and they are very surprised to see me. And one of them rides up to me, and he says, "Boy, what are you doing? Where are you?" And I go, "I'm so sorry, sir. I don't know where I am. I'm a 19-year-old kid from Columbus, Georgia, and I just want to go home." And he goes, "Well, stay here." And he rides back and confers with some of the other officers. And after a while, he waves me on, and the horses kind of split. And I drive my car through, and he stops me and he says, "Pull over there." And I'm driving through all these officers. They've got armor on, and they've got shields and batons and assorted weaponry. And I think to myself, oh my God, I'm about to get arrested. My mom and dad are gonna see me on TV getting arrested by this news camera up in the helicopter above me. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm sitting there sweating in my car, waiting for someone to come talk to me. And the sergeant comes over, and I'm steeling myself up. I'm ready to say that I didn't do anything wrong. And he knocks my window, and I roll it down. And he leans in, and he says, "Here's a water bottle and a ham sandwich my wife made me. That was probably pretty scary back there, wasn't it?" And I go, "Yes, sir, it was." And he says, "Well, just go up a couple blocks, take a left. That'll take you straight to the highway. Have a good day. And hey, stay safe out there." And I drove away unscathed, and the car was undented, and I never told my parents. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate that. We'd asked a question of our guests kind of as a way of introducing them. If you could tell us, like, what, if you could wear any costume, any Halloween costume, what would it be? And his was going to be an inflatable alien outfit. You can only imagine you telling that same story in an inflatable alien outfit. Our next guest, Tiana Lupie, was so excited to meet her and help her with her story. She's like incredibly brave to tell the story she's going to tell us and the deep knowledge that's kind of embedded within it, and I'm excited about that. And then I was kind of waiting for, when I asked her that question, like, what's your costume going to be? I was kind of like waiting for, like this is going to be a profound moment of excitement for me when she tells me this. And she said a pumpkin. And so her costume would be a pumpkin, and now she's going to tell us her story. Here's Tiana Lupie.
Hi, I'm Tiana Lupie. I'm originally from Tundra, but we used to travel up to Gwichliuk for the summer, and my dad had those really big huskies back then, and he looked after them because he used them to go check his traps. And so we'd bring them during the summertime by boat when we were traveling up and here we had a land boat. Us four kids, the dogs, my mom and my dad and I. And after fishing season was over, we'd find out with all the fish we were bringing up all the way from Gwichliuk to Tundra, there was no room for the dogs. So my parents decided they'll come get the dogs soon after freeze up and when the Kosacheff is safe to travel with a snow machine. So they thought there was enough time to travel from Tundra to Gwichliuk by snow machine. They went, and they had to drive slow to so the dogs wouldn't be traumatized with all the rough sea ice. So they were traveling, and it was during this time of the year when it was getting dark sooner than later. So when they were traveling, they were right in front of Napakyak, and they were taking a break to see if they would need to, they stopped the snow machine and took a break. But when my dad took a break from that ride, he saw that dogs were cowering, love-looting. They were bending their heads really close to the bottom of the sled. And he told my mom that they're alanroking, they're haunted by some ghost that my mom and dad weren't aware of, but they were already aware of it. So my mom got in, my dad unhitched the sled. He had to decide whether to bring them or get away before they encounter the ghost. So they unhitched the sled and went up to Napakiak, and they said, soon as that they were aware of the dogs cowering, it got dark really fast. So they spent the night in Napakiak. The next morning, they went to go get the dogs, and they were up and straight like nothing happened. But my dad told my mom, when there's a spirit around or they're haunted, they cower towards the ground or whatever's to the ground or onto the bottom of something or onto the floor. And that's how my dad knew they were being haunted in the river. And when you're traveling, there are certain spots where people avoid or they be cautious, and they were towards where they were by Napakiak, where that certain area is known to be haunted, and they didn't want to encounter the ghost there. And dogs can let you know if there's something wrong, and maybe you guys can be more alert when they're cowering towards the floor. Thank you.
Good story there. And I've been on a dog team plenty of time, just like, ooh, what is that? You know, so good story, Guyana. Next, I have known this young woman since she was a kid. She says, I'm not a kid anymore. But it was so funny in the Anchorage airport. I was saying, oh, I'm so glad you're going to be here today. Up here telling stories. She goes, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. It's just kids that are going to be there. And I go, no, a lot of adults are going to be there too. And she go, oh, and I go, it'll be fine. So please give a warm welcome to Roxanne Sadler.
Yep, I thought this was an event for kids because I do I do a lot of volunteering for our kids, and so I didn't read past the lines that Laura had sent me. Sign me up. I waited a week to respond. That's what I get. So ta-da. My name is Roxanne Sadler. I'm from Bethel, born and raised. My parents are Don and Betty Sadler. My mom is from Alaganak. My dad chose to raise us here. My nan is here too tonight from Alaganak. But growing up, we all have areas of where we grew up. There's housing, there's City Sub, there's Larson, there's 6th Avenue, and I grew up in housing. And my parents worked, they both worked, and I was the oldest one out of my siblings. And one day, my summer childhood friends who came every summer were my neighbors. They were fraternal twins. One was nice and innocent, the other one was naughty like me. And we always came up with things playing with the Ouija board, Ouija boards. So this morning, we decided we wanted to make a gurak, and we thought it would be a good idea to surprise our parents before they came home with a gurak. They won't know that we left. We'll be back before they came, and we would have a gurak made for them. So we started we only had telephone with the cord, so we called, and we're like, okay, get ready. And we'll go to Anika, because AC Quick Stop used to be called Anika. And so we're like, okay, we got our pilot breads, we got our what we thought was enough water, a couple jugs of water each. And we thought, okay, before we go, we're going to hit up Anika, which we did. And we walked away with some treats that we probably shouldn't have had. I don't know if you're familiar with the Red Man, but we scored some Red Man. Off the bat, when you're doing things you're not supposed to be doing growing up, I was always raised, my aunt taught me what alangrok was. And it's if you're doing things or if you're being too much at nighttime, like scary things could happen to you. And so I wasn't thinking about that. It was me and my sister and my two friends, and we went down our mosey. We had a choice to go to City Sub Tundra. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Or housing Third Road Ptarmigan. There's Tundra back there. We decided to go closest to where we lived, which was in the back. So we were going on our way. Had our mischief stuff. We had our water. We had our buckets, and we were all happy. It was the morning time before lunchtime. And as we were walking. We walked about an hour, and we were like, this is not as fun. So we were picking berries as we were going, and then we started eating them. And then we were like, okay, I forgot we had our Red Man. We should probably try it. And so we stopped. We stopped what we were doing. We ate our berries. We had our Red Man. We were spinning. We thought it was real cool. And we got sick. We got so sick. We were dizzy. We were doing things we weren't supposed to be doing, mind you. And so we got sick. We drank all our water. And we're like, well, we got to fill our buckets, so we better at least pick something. All of us pick something. And my sister, she's scary. Out of all of us, if we're not supposed to be doing something, tattletits. She'll just go and tell. And so we were like, okay, well, hurry up and go. Well, look, there's a lady. There's a lady with a gusbuck. She had a bucket. And we're like, let's go ask her. Maybe she has food or water. And so we were like, okay. So we're little kids, and we're going, and we're like, I don't know, maybe how much time passes by, and we're like, we're getting farther out. We're doing things we're not supposed to be doing. And the lady that we see, she's luring us into the tundra. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with like little people, but there's a saying, if the little people can come at any time and come and take you and bring you into a whole nother realm of life. And so that lady was luring us farther and farther out before my naughty self probably just decided, it's too far, we better turn around. We don't know what time it was, none of us had watches, and so we're like, okay, and my sister was like, we need to turn around, we're gonna get in trouble. We're like, fine. So we ventured one way, and on our way back, so the lady, she would stop, and she would wave, and we would go, and then we would stop, and then we were just like, okay, that's enough. So when we turned around, we were like, we were over it. Like, okay, we better pick berries so we have some to at least make a bowl of a gurak. At this point, it wasn't going to be a bowl. We're like, at least we'll make single ones for our mom and our dad, and we won't eat any. And so we were making our way back, thirsty, hungry, sick, laughing, having fun. We stumbled across what we thought was a private pool. I mean, it was meant for us. We were coming back, and Bethel was still so many miles away that you could see Bethel, but it was a fenced-in swimming pool. So we were already got ourselves in anak. I don't know if you know what anak is, but it's the emo jai poop. And so we were doing things we weren't supposed to be doing. So we find this pool, and we're like, yeah. And we're all swimming in it. My naughty friend, she goes running into the pool, and she goes diving into it. She's spitting up water, and we're just having the time of our little lives. And innocently, we go home all wet, and we don't think about it. We go home, and we make our agurak, and we were like, geez, we could have gotten taken, We're like, oh, okay, well, our parents come home. They didn't know. We didn't end up getting in trouble. It ended up being fine. Little people didn't come and get us, and we were just like, whew. And then, come to find out, it wasn't until years later, I couldn't tell you how many years later, we were swimming in the community khun, the sewer lagoon. And that's my story. Ooh.
That's so awesome. Swimming in the sewer lagoon. You know, they go and look at rare birds out there, too. Anyway, well, we're going to go into intermission, but before we go into intermission, then there's popcorn and drinks and whatnot over there. But I really want to thank the library staff, Theresa Quiner, Mikayla Miller, Ian Poole, and Thomas Daniel. They worked so hard to put the stage up, built that lovely sign back there. That's my buddy Bob hanging by the antlers.
I didn't know that's how you treat your buddies.
I know, just hang them up around. Anyway, so that was a great first set. We'll be back for more and more of Velma Lyle. But first, why don't you tell them a little bit about what's coming up?
All right, so we'll get a little more music from Velma Lyle, and then we also have, you can buy tickets in the back to an event that's coming up that looks super cool, Parlor in the Round, on November 17th with Paul Basile, Whitty Youngman, Katie Martucci, and you'll get music and some like sketch comedy kind of stuff. It's going to be super fun, and so they have tickets and more information in the back. So a little bit of intermission time, and then we'll get some more music and some more stories. Thank you.
We have some terrifying tales of our own, but first we're going to play another original song called All the Lights Go Down.
Put on your headphones, close up your eyes. No calamities in here, only sunny skies. Oh, oh, oh. Hold on to your elbows, sit back in surprise. Real reality is weird, this wisdom is wise. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. After all the lights go down, it's harder to ignore what you have found. After all the lights go out, find yourself a song. Don't freak out. Did you forget it? It's there in the back. I can reach back and grab it. You just sit and relax. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. After all go down, it's harder to ignore what you have found. After all the lights are out, find yourself a song, but don't freak out. down in the willow garden where me and my love did meet. There we sat a-courting, my love fell off to sleep. Well, I had a bottle of burglar's wine my true love did not know, and I did murder that dear little girl down on the banks below. I stabbed her with a dagger, it was a bloody knife, and I threw her in the river, it was a dreadful sight. My father often told me that money would set me free. If I did murder that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly. He sits alone in his cabin home, wiping the tears from his eyes, waiting for his son to come home up on scaffold high. My race is run beneath the sun, hell awaits for me, for I did murder that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly.
Thank you.
One more round of applause for Velma Lyle. Whoa, man. How lucky are we to hear them? We'll get to hear them at the end, too. A couple more songs. I'm excited. Man, it's fun to hear them. Let's see. Next up, we have Francisco Martínezcuello, and he's going to be telling us a totally different kind of story. Excited to hear this. When he said his costume, he would be as Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Got it. Excellent. Here we go. Francisco.
All right. Beyond the crystalline willows that line Bethel city roads, and away from the light bouncing and scattering off the December snow, from street lamps at night is where the tundra calls me. I answer. But before I do, I put on 2 pairs of jeans over my pajama pants because no one taught me how to prepare for the subarctic climate. I need more layers around my torso, so I grab more t-shirts from my closet. Yeah, I'm doing it right, I think. Proper prior planning prevents piss-poor performance. It's then when I notice the shamag on the floor. I don't remember bringing the headcloth with me when I landed last Halloween. But of course I brought it from San Diego, just like I brought it from a dusty poor town in Iraq, where I deployed to back in 2008. The shamag is thick woven with thick cotton and wool fibers, but it still glides easily against the skin. It smells like a mixture of agar wood, musk, and cordite. The purpose of the shamag is not only to hide my face from my enemies, but to cover it from the elements like a sandstorm or a blizzard. The barrenness of the tundra reminds me of the Syrian desert, opposite sides of both map and thermometer, those tools made by humans to represent place and gauge temperature. The shamag is black and green, mixed pattern, sometimes with The shamag is black and green, mixed pattern, sometimes checkered, sometimes with lines, but the patterns break up the outline of my head to fool my enemies who look at me through a scope. I wrap the shamag purposely before I walk out of my apartment. I'm on patrol. It's during my first few weeks when I arrived in southwestern Alaska. After spending 2 decades in a coastal desert climate where the temperature rarely dips below 45 degrees. It's a near 3-mile walk from my apartment to Tundra Ridge, but it's infinitesimal compared to the solar flares racing from the sun that's nearly 93 million miles away and hell-bent to shatter the Earth's magnetic field. It's cold, and I'm new enough not to know the difference between bronchospasms, hyperthermia, and frostbite. I'll learn. The cold is a silent killer. The way snipers and spotters are on the rooftops in 2004 Battle of Fallujah. A crisp north breeze slaps me out of the past, not necessarily out of spite, it's because I need to breathe. I fall back on my training, slowly breathing in. Exhale, slow, then pause. But then I realize I don't have my rifle and I don't have a weapon and I feel naked, unarmed. I'm on my way towards darkness, away from the light pollution from this secondhand city. The forecast says my chances of seeing the auroras are at 50%. But the forecast also says that I've got 30 minutes before I get frostbite. So maybe I'll see the auroras, and maybe I won't. But maybe I won't die, but maybe I will. The odds make me shiver. The auroras. I don't remember when I arrived. I don't know how long I've been exposed to wind and wintry air because I forget it all when I see them. Charged particles colliding against the upper atmosphere, the magnetic field defending its position against an all-out assault. The auroras exploding like the illumination rounds and tracers and white phosphorus. The colors make me dizzy and disoriented, so I lay down on the snow. I close my eyes. When I open them, I'm inside a brick house in western Iraq, the family of 4, father, mother, son, daughter. They serve tea. I feel unwelcome while we sit cross-legged and sit hop chai. The young boy looks at me. He's expressionless, but I feel like something's bothering him. I reach out my hand to shake his, but he instantly slides his hands into his pocket and looks down. I tell him I know what it's like not to feel wanted, and this isn't the first time I've invaded homes. I excuse myself and thank them for their hospitality. It's a tactical withdrawal, but it's better known as retreating. I wake up shivering, turn sideways, puke. I'm on my back again. I try to avoid the auroras and close my eyes, but it doesn't stop my mind from spinning between past and present so that I'm not sure which is which and when is when. I'm back again in western Iraq. I see the family's brick house, plumes of smoke trailing the background spider web across the sky. My head rings with the explosions, and I think that white phosphorus smells like garlic. My lungs burned, watching the brick house turn to ash. I feel heavy, not the way I do with my full kit, flak jacket and Kevlar. I run towards the fire. My Marines pull out 3 bodies, mother, father, daughter. My platoon sergeant is talking, but I can't hear him because of the ringing in my head. And I'm sifting through rubble trying to find the boy. I only find the black and green shamag, mixed patterns, sometimes checkered, sometimes with lines. My platoon sergeant strikes me so hard it makes me see bright lights. I can't see him. He screams and yells that I called in the wrong grid coordinates. The sound of his voice replaces the ringing. Wrong grid coordinates, wrong grid coordinates, wrong grid coordinates. The auroras are gone when I open my eyes. I sit up and my night vision is ruined by car headlights. An old man helps me up and dusts me off. I get back on the ground looking for the shamag, and the old man asks me, what am I doing? I won't find anything because nothing is there and it never was. The old man drives away. I cannot hide or fool my enemies anymore.
Francisco, hugs of comfort and strength to you. That was very heavy and very awesome. And as we know a lot of people experience PTSD, childhood trauma, and if we know people that are, having a hard time, you reach out to them, you help them. Guyana, other hand. I'm trying not to cry. Okay, let me do a quick thank you. That'll pull my act back together. Swag, you guys are doing such an awesome job volunteering your time. Ann Kosacheff, Lori Ellsworth, and a special thanks to Paul Conti for his continued dedication. He's always there managing the soundboard tonight and at almost every event here. So a big hand for them at SWAG. And also to the KYUK staff, Yvonne Erickson, Mary Kate Dolan, and Gabby Salgado. You guys are awesome too. I think this is going to be aired at some time down the road. It's going to be available to the public, so if you know people who've missed it, you tell them opportunity is coming. Okay, well, our next person coming up here to tell a story is another woman that's been born and raised in this area. My ultimate Halloween custom would be Jason with a chainsaw. Give a warm welcome to Sugar Rose Henderson. And just off the jet, did your husband get your bags?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. The Jason costume, there's a story behind that. When our kids were young, my husband and I really got into Halloween, and he would always find something to dress up as. And one Halloween, he dressed up as Jason. He took his chain off his chainsaw, and he walked around in the shadows. And when somebody got close to him, he would start his chainsaw and just scare the bejesus out of everyone around him. He had parents running in their cars, moms crying. It was hilarious, so that's why I picked that one. Okay, so my story happened about 36 years ago. I had given birth to my second child, and I had been home about 3 weeks, and my mom came over and said, all right, come on, you've been in the house long enough, let's go. And I said, where are we going? And then my husband comes in the door and he says, Mom's here to get you, you better go. And where am I going? Mom says, let's go to bingo. So we went to bingo. Todd stayed home with our second child, TJ, and my dad took Heather. She was about 5 years old. And after bingo, we got home to my house, and I walk in the door, and I can hear the baby crying. And nobody was in the living room. The TV was off, and I can hear TJ crying. And so I went in the bedroom, and Todd was laying the wrong way on a bed in a half moon with baby blankets at his belly. And so I quickly go over, and I'm grabbing the blankets, trying to find TJ, and he wasn't there, but I can hear him crying. And so I started going around the house. my mom says, what's the matter? And I said, I can't find TJ. And so we're both scurrying around the house. Todd finally wakes up. What's going on? And I said, where's TJ? And he says, he's right here. And he looked, and all the blankets were moved, and he goes, he was right here. And so everywhere we went in the house, it was the same volume of the baby crying. And I could not find him. We searched that house from one end to the other and could not find him. And I finally went in the bedroom again to see if was somewhere else on the bed. I thought Todd had checked it, but I wanted to check it myself. And something made me look under my bed. And we had one of those old metal frames that sit up about that far off the floor. And I look under the bed, and I see TJ's feet right under where he was laying on the bed. And so I grabbed his feet, and I'm slowly pulling him out. And from his upper body to his head was too big to come out from under the bed. Todd had to lift the bed for me to get him. We have no idea how he got under the bed, but he was right under where he was sleeping. It was the scariest moment of my life, not being able to find my child. And then another time, it was 2 years after that, Todd had bought us Ducks Unlimited tickets. So we were getting ready to go. Todd wrapped up the kids, took the boys over to my parents' house. Heather was in the bedroom watching Winnie the Pooh, and I was just about done curling my hair. We had a great big mirror outside our bathroom door that allowed me to look into the living room, and I can see the front door. And I saw Todd leave, so I'm curling my hair, and I'm saying, come on, Heather, we got to go. She said, wait. And I'm busy curling, and I'm brushing and curling. Okay, Heather, we got to go. And I'm unplugging everything, and she said, wait. And I said, doggone it, Heather. And I went to step out of the bathroom to go get her, and something grabbed my hair and pulled me back. And I just kind of stood there. And I didn't know what to do. And Heather's saying, it's almost done. And I look in the mirror, and I see Todd come in. And I said, honey, I was really scared to move. I said, honey. And he's not answering. And so I finally walk out, and I go in the living room, and he's not out there. But I saw him come in the mirror. And so I stood there, and I'm saying, come on, Heather. I was too scared to go down the hallway to get her. And I'm saying, come on, Heather, we got to go. No, it's almost over. And then I hear the door again, and I look over, and I'm in the hallway by then, and Todd comes in, and he comes running over. He goes, what's the matter? And I said, something just pulled my hair, honey. I don't know. I need to get out of here. Could you please go get Heather? So I quickly just grabbed my coat, and I walked out of the house. I don't know what it was. Somebody did not want me to scold my daughter. That was the only conclusion I came to, because I was darn near, out that door to go get her out of that bedroom, but something grabbed my hair and stopped me. Wow. Now my kids are all grown and out of the house, and we have not had a single thing happen in our house since.
Are you still living there?
Yes, we still live in the same house.
Gives me the chills. I love it. Nothing like good scary story. All right, our next speaker, if she could be anyone for Halloween, it would be the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Eva Malvich. Come on up, Eva.
Trying to find the shortest one. You pick woman in the house. I was never lucky enough to alangok. I really wished I had. But what I went through 15 years ago was terrifying. My sister called me out of the blue on a Saturday. And she said she needed to go to fish camp right away and that it was urgent. There was nobody else to drive the boat. And I had never driven the boat before. So I asked her, did you drive it before? And she said, yeah. So I said, okay, fine. I grabbed my kids and I went and picked her up. The boat is a humongous monstrosity for Bethel, Alaska. It's a 22-foot fiberglass ocean boat. It's not one of those cute little gunboats you see zipping all over the river in front of Bethel. I get into the boat, and I start the motor, no problem. I got this. I put it into gear, and I hit the boat in front of me really hard. Sugar, this was not your boat. She's my neighbor. And I had to let her know it was Ron Kane's boat. Nobody's looking, so I'm fine. But I can't keep the boat in a straight line. I'm swerving back and forth, and I'm grinding my boat into other boats as I'm leaving, and I'm shaking, but I'm nervously laughing alongside my sister, who's standing right next to me. I keep a safe distance from the boat in front of me as we're leaving the harbor. By the way, there's an unspoken rule here in Bethel. If you're on the river, you have to wave back, especially to this one. If you don't, I look at my husband, I go, who the heck? I do the queen wave in my boat. That's how we do it out here. Anyways, I get to the mouth of the boat harbor, and all hell breaks loose. All these stupid little gunboats are zooming back and forth around me, and I'm getting really scared. I know I should move, but I can't. I'm stuck, and I'm in the way. The stupid bow of the boat went way up there, and I can't see a stupid thing. I'm terrified at this point. I yell at my sister, who's standing right next to me. I can't see. What should I do? She looked right back at me with her arms raised up, and she said, I don't know. I yelled at her, but you told me you knew how to drive. I sent my boys to the bow of the boat thinking the weight of their little bodies would lower the bow, but nothing happened. So instead, I direct them to point out boats that are approaching me so I don't run them over. At this point, I don't remember anything. I blacked out. But somehow we got to fish camp safely in one piece. As soon as we get out of the boat, I scout around for a boat driver, but there's nobody around. I hate camping, so I'm not going to sleep there. So I wait. Pretty soon my Uncle Myron Nanning stops by, and I talked him into driving his boat right next to me for moral support. And his brother Nicholas is driving in front of me really slow, guiding me safely back to the boat harbor. I gotta give those guys credit for keeping their mouth shut, because I could see the look of disgust on my Uncle Myron's face as he's slowly driving, looking confused and wondering, what the heck am I doing? It's been 15 years since that terrifying boat ride, and I never hit another boat since, so you don't have to worry about running into me on the river. Tiana.
I will mention that Eva's Fish Camp is right across from the boat harbor. We all have our first time we've ever drove a boat, so that's a good one. I could just see that bow up. She actually threw her little kids up to the bow thinking that they would drop it down, but it didn't happen. Let me see. Theresa, did we forget to thank somebody? I'm trying to, I mean, there's a lot of good people that put on this show, and I'm looking at Theresa. Laura Ellsworth. Where are you, Laura? You're awesome. Is she hiding? Yeah, you come. And Theresa next will tell a story about Laura.
Laura hates getting on the stage, but I think we need to get her up here so everybody can thank her for helping us put this event together. Come on, Laura. Laura is quietly behind the scenes planning and coordinating all of the concerts and arts events that Swag puts on. She's always very modest and in the background, but I think people need to see her face and know all of the awesome things she brings to this community.
And now your story is?
Thank you, everybody, for coming out and for supporting the arts.
And what's your favorite costume?
Ooh, I feel like maybe something animal related because I'm a big dog lover. My dog's name is actually Lund, and a funny story is Paul Basile named him.
Oh, well, Guyana to both of you. This has been an awesome evening. Before I introduce the next storyteller, their upcoming events are Project Homeless Connect on November 7th, The Taste of Bethel, which is really, really awesome if you haven't experienced that. That's coming back November 11th. Animation with Jimmy, 13th through the 15th. Bookbinding with Jimmy, 13th through the 15th. And don't forget to get your tickets to Parlor in the Round on November 17th. And we're going to have a Winter Fest on December the 3rd. So that's the upcoming events. Now the next, I also, this head of hair, I'm in my 70s. A lot of the folks up here telling stories, I've known them since they were kids. And I look at that gray-haired beard now and I think, where did time go? But the next storyteller, I watched him grow up and play basketball and do a lot of things in high school, play music, write a book. If you haven't read The Raven's Gift, read that book. I think I've read it 3 times. It's really good. So with no further ado, my co-host, Don Rearden. A big hand for Don.
All these scary stories in here, I'm going to tell you about how I became a skeptic. Somebody who doesn't believe any of it. Here's how that happened. So as a kid, we lived in several villages, and so up and down the river, or out on the Tundra, Akyak and Kosacheff. And when we lived in those places, our houses were haunted because every school on the Tundra is haunted. If you know that. I think the teachers, they tell the kids the schools are haunted, so they leave quickly after school. Don't come back till the next morning. Or at least that's sort of like what I thought. The place that we lived in Kosacheff is divided. There's 2 villages. There's the old village and the new village. And we lived in the old village, in Akyuk. And the school that we lived, so I was in 8th grade at the time. And I had 2 younger sisters, and my mom was kind of the teacher, principal, kind of jack of all trades. She's kind of like Indiana Jones, with the whip and the pistol and the hat. She finds stuff. She's just kind of a magical person, really special teacher, and just somebody I always looked up to and admired. And my dad worked here in Bethel, and he would commute and visit us on the weekends. And so it was just us living in the most haunted place in the village, the school. So this school, though, it's since been torn down, so it doesn't exist anymore, probably because it was haunted, or at least everyone in the village said it was, to the extent that I couldn't have friends spend the night at our house because their parents were like, you're not staying there. The cook, who we love dearly, she wouldn't go get food in the storage buildings that were connected to our house by these long hallways that were much more like a tunnel. because they were all boarded up and they connected to these other outbuildings. We lived in this little kind of apartment in the school, and yet somehow there was a whole, like, a building that was teachers' quarters that looked perfectly livable that no one lived in, connected to our house by this tunnel, and a generator building that was also connected. I mean, these things were long. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, they were probably like 100 yards, 200 yards, 1,000 yards. I write fiction, so any one of those might be true. But they were dark and scary. And the cook wouldn't go get food without somebody going with her. So like middle of the day, somebody would come into class and take some kids with her to go down there, because the kids will protect you from whatever's there, maybe. I'm not sure. But like any scary house, weird stuff would happen. You know, the whole like classic lights on and off, check. Hearing people walking around when no one's there, check. This standard, you know, like doors opening and closing, check. You know, it's kind of marking off all the scary stuff. The thing about it was my mom could explain it all away, and she was really good at that. And she would just use, like any teacher would use, science, right? The doors opening and closing was because of those tunnels, the hallways, right? They're connected to these abandoned buildings, and you've got Arctic winds, and that creates suction. Doors opening and closing, right? Which would probably explain, like, windows would also be open in the morning or something. The lights going on and off were because of the generator. It's an old school, old generator, and the lights would go off, and you'd have to go down that long, dark hallway and reset the generator to get that going. Alarms would go off when that would happen. It was kind of scary. But she could explain all of that. Just everything had an explanation. Like, I might hear a basketball bouncing in the gym, and I'm like, sweet, I'm going to go shoot hoops with the janitor, and then look down the hallway, and it's dark. And you're like, I swear I heard a basketball bouncing. My mom would be like, it just, you know, like, ball probably fell off the rack. The whole school building was, like, shifting because of permafrost melting and climate change. She just had an explanation for it all. And, you know, it sort of made sense. I was in 8th grade. Super cool, like I am now. Maybe cooler. The night the strange thing happened, I was being really cool and talking to a girlfriend that I had. Yeah. In the other village. And this was the time where some of you might not know this, but we had these things called telephones. Roxanne sort of hinted at this earlier. These were like, you had only like one in your house. The first village I lived in, we had one in the whole village. I'm that old. The white beard says it all, right? In this place, we had one in the school. It was in the principal's office. And so I'm hanging out in the principal's office because that was my mom. She was not there. I was alone, talking on the phone, you know, like being romantic, I'm sure. Legs kicked up on the desk. And across the room from me, as if some bony, invisible hand grabs this file cabinet. I'm seeing it in my head. I'm getting the chills from this. The filing cabinet door goes opens in front of me. I'm no longer the cool guy. I gotta go by. No explanation. No, like, I'll talk to you later. Like, can I come see you? I'm done. I'm out. I fly down the hallway into I'll get that later. I fly down the hallway. I jump in there, slam the door. I throw myself up against it to keep out the ghost or whatever I just saw, like how that works. I'm not sure. I can't breathe. My heart is like pounding out of my chest. And my mom's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, I just saw the filing cabinet door just open right in front of my face. And without missing a beat, she's like, the big gray one? And I go, yeah. And she goes, it must be like out of balance or something. It just always opens like that. It's a true story. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. we usually have to kind of tape it shut, and sometimes the tape comes off and it opens up like that. I'm like, oh my God, like, thank God, like, because that was scary, right? Fast forward like 10 years. I'm here teaching high school, and it was, I was like, I'm going to be a writer, and I'm thinking about all these weird experiences. And so I'm like, Mom, we're sitting around the table one night, like a dark and stormy night, and telling stories. And I was like, Mom, tell me about that year in Kosacheff. Like, that had to be like pretty crazy. You're raising kids out there by yourself, and big, like, strange building and all those things happening. And she's like, yeah, that was the scariest year of my life. I'm like, what? And instantly I'm seeing the filing cabinet open back up, right? And I'm like, but the tape. And she's like, yeah, I went back there and closed the door and put the tape on there. I knew you'd go look. And I was like, so you're just making all that stuff up? She goes, that place was terrifying. She's like, I'd get you guys to bed, and I would hear like footsteps in the hallway and doors opening and closing. And she's like, the whole place is locked. I'm the only one there. You just heard the janitor leave on the snow go, like, and she's like, it was terrifying. Middle of the night, the power would go off, and she would have to go down that. I was just talking about this with her. I wanted to kind of refresh myself yesterday, and she's like, oh, I would go wake you up, as if I wasn't already awake because the alarms are going off. And she would say, don't fall asleep, because I have to go reset the generator. And she was afraid that if there was like a real fire or something that was happening, like, I would be awake to make sure my sisters would be saved, while she's off, like, who knows what's happening in this. So she's adding to the horror of this for me. The doors opening and closing, she's like, that wasn't the suction. It's like, what kind of idiot did I raise? She did not say that. And I'm like still trying to make sense of all this. And then she goes on to tell me like another like scary moment where she's sleeping and she feels a presence beside her, and she opens her eyes, and it's my sister, little like blonde girl, Shirley Temple curls, perfect horror movie sort of stuff, right? And she's like, Beth, what's wrong? And Beth's like, there's someone in my room standing there. And she's like, the door's locked and stuff. There's no one there. And so she's just like, get in bed with me. And more to comfort her than my sister. And like pulls the covers over her head and like prays. She's like, you have no idea how many nights I was like praying myself to sleep. And I'm like, thanks a lot, Mom. Like, what? You should have lied to me again. And then she's like, you can't tell your sister. And I was like, which one? I have two of them. Like, what? You've already told who have you told? And so and I was like, who? And she's like, Jessica. And I was like, why not? And she goes, because she's traveling out there every week she's a social worker. She's going to the village. And I was like, the school's not even the same school. They like tore it down. She goes, so? And so like the big brother I am, I told her right away. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. I waited. And I told her as soon as she was kind of done with that job. And I was like, Mom was lying the whole time, and the place was totally haunted. And she's like, I know. She's like, I stayed there one night. And I wake up in the middle of the night, computers are on, lights on in the room that I'm sleeping in, locked door. And she's like, like, I never stayed there again. And so she got it. But I asked my mom, I was like, why? I'm out of time. I'm done. I asked my mom, I was like, why'd you do that? Why didn't you just tell us the truth? And she said, because I didn't want my babies to be scared in their own home. I know. Chokes me up too. But that's how I became a skeptic. I don't believe anybody who has all the answers. Thank you. Good night. We get a little bit of more great music, and so Velma Lyle's coming up, and then we've got a couple more things to say.
No.
No, we don't.
I was just going to say that was really good. But the thing I did want to remind people that I hope we do this next Halloween too, and because this was awful fun tonight. Before the band comes back up, though, those of you that told stories, we want to get a group photo after the show, so stick around so we can get that group photo.
Yeah, and one more round, one more hand for the band as they're going to come up and play. Thank you, everybody.
So there's a strange tradition in folk music to sing songs about murder. We played one of those songs a while ago, and we're going to do another one now. If you're familiar, you know these songs as murder ballads. What's especially strange is they're sometimes incredibly beautiful songs. Oh, right. Thank you, Bethy.
10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, a man was killed beneath the town hall light. The few at the scene the scaffold is high and eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black fan, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black van. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me.
Thank you. Totally gonna remember the words. Yeah. Okay. This is a song called "The Back of Beyond." Off on a ride through the back of beyond, and I'm singing along to the radio on, alive, alive, alive. My father's caprice with the windows down, alright, alright, alright. The engine singing round every turn, the highway is alive. I tried to dream it away on the back of a song. I tried. Well, there's a lot of big songs in this old world, so I winding through the hills back to my hometown. I'm trying to survive. The Chevy rumbles and the highway burns. Oh, I take my hands off the wheels and close my eyes. Come on, take a ride through the back of beyond. All right, all right, all right. Thank you. We've got just one more song. I want to say thank you to Swag and the library. Yes, please, a round of applause. We've all got great stories, and I think especially out here, we've got great stories, and so it's nice to just hear a few of them tonight. We're honored to be a part of it. What else? Is there anything else to say? Oh, I was going to introduce everybody. On drums, we have Kevin Morgan. And this is called a double bell euphonium, and it's played by Nate DeHaan. And only Nate DeHaan. On violin, we have Bethy Whalen. On bass, Lisa Whalen. And I'm Paul. Woo! And we are called Velma Lyle. And what you didn't know is that the character Scooby-Doo, her last name is Lyle. So that's why we're called that. No. This is our last song. Thanks so much for listening to us. Oh, right. Okay. Just took a minute. Totally no. We're good.
I still feel alright. It doesn't go away, I still feel alright. There's so much love in here, it's here to stay. Safe harbor in a rising stormy bay. Shield me from all harm, and I'll protect you too. Hold me in your arms, and I'll hold you too. There's so much love in here, it's here to stay. Safe harbor in a rising stormy bay. Well, I'll hold you, I'll hold you, I'll hold you. It's clear the game is fixed, but I still have you. No matter how bad it gets, oh, I still have you. There's so much love in here, it's here to stay. Safe harbor in a rising stormy bay. Well, I'll hold you, I'll hold you, I'll hold you. Yeah, I'll hold you, I'll hold you, I'll hold you. Thank you. Good night.